I have never in my life seen a gacha game announce its end of service day and release date at the same time. This must be some kind of record. From a 10-year-long game of a huge franchise with loyal fans to a sequel launch this disastrous, Love Live School Idol Festival 2 is the personification of greed and incompetence. For some context, Love Live School Idol Festival 1, the original, was a mobile gacha rhythm game for the Love Live series developed by K-Labs that launched all the way back in 2013. With addicting gameplay, it was a very big success with over 45 million players by 2018 and became the staple game for Love Live fans. The game kept running for a whole decade, a very rare feat in the gacha world, but its age would eventually catch up to it. Much of the UI, engine, and everything about it was certainly starting to feel outdated compared to its competition. For a major music franchise like Love Live, its rhythm game needed an upgrade. In 2019, another game, School Idol Festival All-Stars, released, but this was more like an RPG management game, completely different from the original rhythm game, and so both games operated in parallel. This went on for a while and all seemed fine. Two different genres of games for Love Live fans, until the devil struck. In late 2022, Bushiroad, both games' publisher, decided to pull a bold move. A direct sequel to the original rhythm game was announced, School Idol Festival 2 Miracle Live. Because of this, and a variety of other reasons we won't discuss, both the original School Idol Festival and the RPG School Idol Festival All-Stars shut down in 2023. They wanted their new game in the spotlight, and even offered players of the original School Idol Festival the ability to transfer their decade-long account data to the sequel. Fans, especially those of the original game, were getting very excited. Love Live was an idol franchise, and music was an essential part of it. An updated music game had been long due. Besides, the original rhythm game had already shut down. Love Live fans just wanted something to play, bro. There were some slight concerns because K-Labs, the developers of the original School Idol Festival, had lost the rights to the Love Live franchise. And so, the sequel was being developed by, we don't know. Yeah, they just never announced who was developing the game. So we don't know to this very day. The only info we got was Bushiroad announcing that K-Labs were not the developers. This was weird, but it's fine. School Idol Festival 1 was a great game. They have a great model to follow. How bad could it be? As a Love Live fan, I think even I underestimated how bad a gacha game can be. School Idol Festival 2 actually released very quickly in Japan, April 2023, only a half year after its initial announcement. While the global version was mapped for December, it introduced a few good things like a gigantic catalog of 500 plus songs, basically the entire Love Live franchise's songs. It was the only Love Live game that had every single idol group to date, and the art on the UR cards were very, very pretty. Alright, that's all the positives. This game was actually a disaster. Fans were in dismay. First, the game had nothing new. Yes, it had a lot of songs, but they changed absolutely nothing about the core gameplay from School Idol Festival 1. No new modes, no new techniques, not anything big that would ever attract any new fans. It was a carbon copy of the original. For a sequel that came out after 10 years of the original game, you'd think they'd come up with something to freshen up the experience, but nope. Well, at least fans of the original can now enjoy all 500 plus songs in the rhythm game, right? Yeah, if it wasn't for the bugs. For some reason, many users reported issues of their taps not registering properly. This is quite literally the biggest issue that can possibly exist in a rhythm game. It's a game killer, and these issues were not in the original. Now this sequel is just a worse version of the original. They even reused quite a lot of art from the original. And unlike other gacha games, this modern rhythm game didn't even have 3D animated performances. It was just a background PNG. By the way, even Love Live All-Stars, the RPG game that released 4 years ago, had fully animated dances, and they shut down that game for this new game to release with zero 3D animations. Like, they didn't even bother reusing the CG animations from All-Stars. Also, for the story, they didn't even allow members of different groups to interact with each other, which again was a part of All Stars, the RPG, and actually a huge selling point of that game. This isn't even to mention the loads of other mechanical issues within the game. You know, like severe performance issues causing lag in a rhythm game with no 3D animations. What are you lagging from? A lot of weird bugs, like a glitch that allowed scores above the intended theoretical maximum, which caused players to be wrongfully accused of hacking and banned. The gacha was also weird because with all the idol groups in the game, that meant 40 plus characters existing in the same gacha pool. The pull rates themselves weren't terrible, but girls of different groups weren't even separated. So if you have a specific best girl you're pulling for, good luck, bro. Oh, and guaranteed pity is at 250 pulls, which is horrendous for modern gacha game standards. Besides, they basically had a rotation system for girls getting new URs, or the equivalent of 5 stars for many other gacha games. But since there were so many girls, it just took forever for each girl to get a new UR. So again, if you want a new card for your best girl, good luck. Also, I mentioned that the game allowed you to transfer your data from the original School Idol Festival, but really the only thing that veterans got were some special badges and some free pulls. That's it. Even for players that had been playing the original since release 10 years ago. That was all. No keeping your rank, progress, anything. It was very obvious that this game was a rushed, bugged mess that they just wanted to release as quickly as possible to make some profit off the big new Love Live game hype. I feel like what made people super mad wasn't just all of these issues, but especially the fact that they killed both the original School Idol Festival and All Stars, the RPG, for this mess of a game. We had a perfectly functional game that lasted over 10 years, many people having great memories and much nostalgia with it, and they killed it for a watered down version of the game that added absolutely nothing new but glitches. Literally doing nothing and just continuing to run servers for the old game like they had been for the past decade would have been a better decision. Who decided this? Needless to say, the game did not perform well. In its release month of April, School Idol Festival 2 earned an estimated 165 million yen in Japan, and only briefly achieved a top 100 grossing rank on the iOS store. Monthly revenue continued to drop to 134 million yen in May, then 87 million yen in June, with store rankings already in the 300 in its third month. I want you to keep in mind, Love Live is still a really big franchise in Japan, with crazy loyal fans willing to burn their life savings, only perhaps behind some of the biggest shonen franchises. For a franchise this big, to have its new gacha game perform this badly was an utter disaster. In June 2023, Bushiroad already accepted the game's underperformance and took the dramatic step of recording an impairment loss on Civ 2. I'm not a financial analyst, but in simple terms, Bushiroad basically threw in the towel and decided the game's future profits would never cover its development costs, so they simply officially marked this project down as a loss. They gave up 2 months in. Just for a little comparison, School Idol Festival 1 was number 5 on the rankings when it released, and has reached number 1 several times in many countries over its lifespan. Much of the monthly revenue was not recorded, but one figure, the annual revenue of 2018, like 5 years into the game's lifespan, was estimated to be about 7.6 billion yen, which, if you take the average per month, is still over 5 times of Civ 2's release month. Civ 2 continued operating for a few months, but revenue never went up by any significant amount. Even in its half-year anniversary celebration, the global release was also delayed from December 2023 to February 2024. However, in January, Bushiroad just gave up. There was no salvaging this game. On January 25th, it was announced that the game would end its service on 31st March 2024, less less than 1 year after its release. But what about the global version? Well, you see, they did the absolute funniest thing I have ever seen a gacha game do. A never seen before move. They announced the release date together with the end of service date, which was only 3 months after the release of the game. Like, what's even the point of releasing the game for 3 months? What is this? As planned, both the Japanese and global servers shut down on their assigned date, and that was the end of this disaster of a game. The only saving grace, if you could even call it that, was that the developers still allowed players to go into the game in an offline mode to view all their collected idol cards, titles, and stories, even after the servers go down. Although they couldn't play the rhythm game or anything, just they could see their collection. Yeah. Today, we have a whole new idol group whose main medium is this app called Link-like. Look, it's complicated. And they eventually added a Project Sekai 2.0 kind of rhythm game to this all-doing app. But this app is only for the new group. For all the old Love Live fans, for all the Muse and Aqua fans. All of our games died for this! Thanks, Bushy Road. Special thanks to Vicente Pagani and all my other patrons and members for supporting the channel.